Hey everyone, and welcome. You ever stop and think about how your voice assistant just gets you? Or how a website can translate an entire paragraph in, like, a split second? Well, today we're going to dive deep into the world of AI and figure out how machines are finally cracking the code on the ultimate puzzle, our messy, complicated, but totally amazing human language.
Okay, so here's the first big hurdle for any machine. Our language is just full of words that can mean different things. Take a super simple word like bank. Are you talking about a place where you keep your money or the side of a river? For you and me, the context makes it a no-brainer, but for a computer that thinks in pure logic, that's a huge problem. How can it possibly know which bank we're talking about?
And it's not just one word, right? The problem is way bigger. Our language is just layered with context, sarcasm. Try teaching a computer sarcasm. And then you have all these unwritten cultural rules and grammar quirks. Plus, the AI has to make sense of this tidal wave of unstructured data, everything from your emails to social media posts. That is the mountain that AI has to climb.
But for every huge challenge, there are some really brilliant people working on a solution. And in this case, that solution has a name, natural language processing, or as you'll hear it called, NLP. This is the field of AI that's completely dedicated to solving this language puzzle.
So what is NLP, really? Well, you can think of it as the ultimate translator, the bridge between how we talk and how a computer thinks. It's the tech that lets a computer not just read words, but actually understand the meaning and the intent behind them. It's all about taking our language with all its nuance and turning it into something a machine can finally work with.
And let's be super clear here. This is not some small, futuristic lab experiment. NLP is a massive, massive industry. We're talking about a global market that's expected to hit over $50 billion by 2025. And look at that growth rate. It's absolutely exploding. Why? Because pretty much every business out there is starting to realize just how powerful it is to unlock the secrets hidden in our language. And out in front, leading the charge, you've got a few heavy hitters. You've got your giants like GPT-5, which is getting crazy good at understanding not just text, but images and audio too. That's what multimodal reasoning is all about. Then you have models like Claude 4, which is built for something called agentic workflows, which is a fancy way of saying it can use other apps and tools to get stuff done for you. Each one is pushing the envelope in its own way. It's a real race to the top. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. We know what NLP is, we know why it's a big deal, but how does it actually work? How does a machine go from just seeing a bunch of letters to, actual understanding? Let's pop the hood and take a look.
All right, think of it like an assembly line for a sentence. Let's say we have "the cat sat on the mat." First up is tokenization. The machine just chops that sentence into its basic pieces: the, cat, sat, and so on. Then comes the really cool part, embedding. Each of those little word tokens gets turned into a string of numbers, a vector. And it's not random. Words with similar meanings, like cat and kitten, get similar sets of numbers. That's how the machine starts to see relationships, even before it figures out the grammar or the main topic. So, what's the secret sauce that makes today's NLP so incredibly powerful? Well, it's really a mix of a few key breakthroughs. It all started with this thing called the transformer architecture, which is a really clever way for the AI to pay attention to the most important words in a sentence. Then, these models get pre-trained by basically reading a huge chunk of the internet. After that, we add newer tricks like RAG, which is kind of like giving the AI an open book test. It can look up facts to be more accurate. And those agentic workflows let it use tools like a calculator or a web search to find answers. It's all these things working together that makes modern AI so good. Now, I know this might all sound a little abstract and technical, but the truth is, this technology is already woven right into your daily life. A lot of times, you probably don't even notice it. So let's bring it back down to earth and look at where you're already using NLP every single day. Think about it. Anytime you ask your phone a question, talk to a customer service chatbot, or see a quick summary of 1,000 product reviews, that's NLP at work. It's the engine behind real-time translation apps. It's what helps companies figure out if people love or hate their new product. And it's what makes things like voice-to-text possible. It's pretty much the invisible engine of how we communicate.
And you can bet the business world has noticed. A whopping 78% of organizations are already using AI and NLP. That is huge. They're automating tasks, digging for insights and reports, and just getting more efficient all around. This isn't just a fad, it's a fundamental change in how things get done.
Okay, but for all its amazing promise, let's be real. The technology isn't perfect, not by a long shot. And like any really powerful tool, it has incredible potential, but it also has some serious challenges we need to talk about. So let's get a realistic view of where NLP is at today.
Getting the stuff right is a real balancing act. On one side, you have the limitations. These models can sometimes hallucinate, which is just a nice way of saying they make things up. And because they're trained on the internet, they can pick up all the biases that are out there. But on the other side of the scale, we have solutions. The industry is working hard on this. We already talked about RAG, which helps keep the models grounded in facts. And there's a huge push for using better, more diverse data, and just being more transparent, all to build systems we can actually trust.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one really powerful idea. The whole ambition, the end goal of natural language processing is to completely change how we interact with our technology. It's about making our most natural tool, language, something that machines can finally truly understand.
And that leaves us with one last big thought. We're building machines that can understand us, that can talk back to us, that can create with our language. As this technology gets better and better, the question really isn't just about what the machines will understand anymore. It's about what we as humans will choose to say. Pretty powerful stuff to think about. Thanks so much for joining me today.